Matt,
How you doing?
how are you, mate? You good?
Good, mate. Good.
Good.
Good to see you.
How's things been?
Good, mate. Very good. Very organised. Very structured.
Good. Good. Been on the plan. How long now? It's coming up about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe touching 5 now.
5 months.
Just
now?
about that. Aye.
Good. Good.
Uh,
How have you found it so far, mate? Give us a quick summary.
incredible.
Yeah.
To think that I'd spent so many years in and out the gym making little to no progress is crazy. And after 4 weeks, seeing the changes that we already saw is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Aye.
So going back to that then, like where were you at before you started? Because you weren't a couch potato, mate. You were
Yeah.
putting the yards into the gym. So walk us through the experience beforehand.
So basically, I've always been active. I'm in the building trade. I'm a joiner, so always on my feet. Played football up until 3 years ago. Started trying to play golf. Not going to say I can play it, but started trying to play golf. So
What's your handicap?
I am the handicap, mate. I don't want to. I don't want to be talking about 24 on a good day. So yeah, not great. I like golf, but it doesn't like me. To be fair. So yeah, like I'm always very lean. With the end goal, wanting to get bigger, but not really having the structure to do that because I was so active. So I've been active for so long, hence why I'm so lean
Yeah.
and able to put on kind of size.
How long? Because you've been going to the gym. How long had you been trying beforehand to get to where you wanted to be?
Oh, I've been going through the same vicious cycle. You know, it was a kind of new year, new me, January, starting, hitting the ground running, and then when work get busy, it started to kind of plateau and go downhill, you know, and that had been years, mate, genuinely years. Like I would always start in January. I don't know January. I didn't start going to the gym. But by the time maybe March and work picked up, I would fall away and it would be the same cycle. And it's easy to fall away, but getting back to it's the hard part.
Yeah. Why do you feel that trend kept happening for you in the past where it was like, because so many people are in the same boat.
Yeah.
January motivation, this is going to be my year, and then it fizzles away. Why do you think that was?
For me, the gym, I've really been uneducated and I've not, a touch of laziness, not had the time or took the time to educate myself with it. And it comes down to just not having the structure. Accountability was a big thing because somebody holding me accountable and making sure that I'm turning up. And even when the days I am turning up, I'm just not, I have no structure. You know, I'm walking in blind and not really knowing. I was finding myself going on my phone, looking up TikTok, exercising stuff. I had an angle, but no real structure at all.
Yeah, yeah. Mate, so many people go, we spoke
Yeah.
about it at the start, they have an ideal position that they want to be, physique wise, and a lot of guys think it's simply just a case of, well, I'm in the gym, you know, I'm eating chicken breast, I'm eating my rice,
Yeah.
and they'll just get to the position, and it doesn't quite work that way. You know, you need to have a system, and that's obviously what we'd found out. So we started working Feb time of this year. What was the turning point for you, mate, to reach out to me, to sit on the call with me and get started?
I'm 27 now. I've got a lot of future plans, you know, and I'm just getting to that age where I want to be thinking about the future and the bigger picture. And for so long, I'd spent, unhappy is a strong word, but not content in my physique and stuff. So, and it wasn't just aesthetics, it was more so everything that falls into place with that has in the last 5 months I've been with you.
Yeah.
So it really took a kind of burning point of, it came to January, I knew what was in store for me. Fall off in March. So I was like, this is the time. I've got no kids at the moment. I'm like, this is the time to invest in myself. Let's do it. Let's prepare myself. Let's create a solid foundation for going into my 30s, basically.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to reach my 30s still being not content. I wanted to get there being in peak. So
was that your big driving point, like the thought of maybe repeating another
absolutely.
year?
And I thought once you get into your 30s, it's not too late, but going into my 30s, I just didn't want to have that mindset. I'm somebody that needs that kind of kicking and that drive. I have the drive, but I need that kicking, and once I get going, like I won't stop. So I wanted to really make sure that going into my 30s, I was already there. I'd built that solid foundation, and then it was just about sustaining it.
Yeah. So we are 5 months on now.
Yep.
You've done a priming phase. You're now pushing foods up, and I have no doubt that we're going to be eating a lot of foods.
Yeah.
Walk me through, some of the things that you feel you've learned over the last 5 months, maybe how your mindset's changed a little bit.
A I've learned a lot through the priming phase. I was naive to the fact that my end goal was to put on size, and I thought I would come in here, you'd give me all these calories to eat, and it would be fine. I'd be putting on size, but to learn that you need to strip back. You know, I'm in the building industry, so comparing that to that, you need to strip everything back, and for something to be sustainable, for you to build something to have longevity, you need to have a solid foundation. And I mean, over the last 5 months, that's exactly kind of what we've achieved, and it's been great.
Yeah. So how do you feel your physique has changed, your education? How has things been different for you since then to where we're at now?
I mean, after 4 weeks, I saw the difference, which was crazy. You know, as I said, I've maybe spent 4 years, more years, and after 4 weeks, I was seeing these small rewards and the change in physique. And with that came the organisation. I mean, I've got a long way to go with organisation. It's something I lack of. My work will maybe tell you that as well. But I mean, like, just between the cooking, the batch cooking, having to have everything in place, you know, it's these small wins that we talk about week in, week out that are just adding up. And throughout the course of the months, have just taught me loads.
Yeah. Now, a lot of guys, before they join, they maybe have the thought that this is going to be something that takes over their life.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how do you feel this has been integrated into your life? Because you're a busy guy, like you say, you're a joiner. You're quite high up within your company as well. Like you're well regarded.
Yeah.
So, how has maybe your thought process beforehand changed to the reality of like working with it?
Oh, incredible. Like, helping with work, organisation with work has just became more key. Like, before, thinking back to January and beforehand, how I was and how the gym is my life now, you know, it's not became too much or a hindrance, it's part of my life. I start to structure things around that. Work's high priority. So, see, as long as I'm waking up and I'm making my work, I'm doing my daily tasks and I'm going to the gym, like, I'm planning everything else around that because that is a structure for my days.
Yeah. It's something I talk about a lot. Like, fitness shouldn't be something like you. I wouldn't want any of you lads to be like, oh, I'm on a program.
Yeah.
You know, it should be something that becomes like who you are. And exactly like you say, it's like fitness is just a pillar of your life, and it just slots seamlessly in with work and with your relationship. And then, you know, God willing, when you become a father as well, you are that fit and healthy dad for, you know, your kids and the longevity of that. So walking through your actual physical changes, when we first had our conversation, you spoke about maybe lacking some confidence within your physique. Now, you are a very confident guy. Like, I've known you for a long time. You are a Jack the Lad. You're a confident guy. But to hear on that original call that you maybe lack that confidence, you know, within yourself and within your physique.
Yeah.
How has that started to change?
Massively. Like, that's probably the big. I mean, there's so many things we could talk for ages about it, but physique obviously is one of the main goals because I was lacking confidence, and for a lot of guys, it is about the confidence. Going back to January, looking at the photos and stuff, like, I was never ever in terrible shape, but I was just not content. And to see the changes that have came over, like how my body's adhered and responded to the training and the eating, is just knowing what my body's capable of has just sent me on another path.
What some of the changes that you've seen like within yourself?
Oh, just like the muscles and tone groups that I never thought I had, and seeing
Filling out
like
that polo shirt pretty nicely.
what
Noticed
fit
that
was
when you
hanging off
walked
me before. Chose I wore it today. No, but yeah, just like even compliments and work and stuff and different people seeing, like, I'm slowly starting to see them, but I think the check-ins that we do week to week, just being able to compare them week in, week out, like, the difference is huge. Like, there's no doubt about it. You can see it. It's there, you know.
Yeah, and through that coaching process, because we obviously work really closely with all the lads, what some of the things that you've learned from your check-ins, from our catch-up calls, and what some of the things that you've enjoyed through the coaching?
Oh, I've definitely enjoyed the check-ins. See that community feel and like knowing that there's somebody there. If I've made a mistake throughout the week or I've not adhered to the plan 100%, you know, it's good to know when I check in with you on a Monday that I don't get myself too down about it, and that's me down and out, because in the past you make one mistake, you know, it's a domino effect of catastrophic events. So to know that it's doable to have, like, we have our one meal off-plan meal a week, which is good. But to know that if you've got plans or something coming up, that you know you're going to be okay because you're filling in the information that we need to know to how to structure that round the weekend.
Yeah.
So,
And now that you've done like a good stint, like the 5-month period with the coaching, and you know how we operate, you know what our standards are, and you know even things like the off-plan meals. When you take yourself back to maybe even 12 months ago, where you'd maybe flirted with the idea of working with a coach or getting help, how has it been different to what you expected maybe coaching or myself to be?
oh, massively. Like, I didn't realise how intimate it was going to be. Like, there's a lot of coaches, you just turn up and you'll do one-to-one sessions, but I'll not speak to you after that. I'll not speak to you during the week. I'll not speak to you weekends. The fact that I can drop everything and text you and you drop everything to respond to me to make sure that I'm sticking on plan and hitting my targets has been incredible. I I had the impression that, you know, it's you join a PT, they're there to guide you, they're there to be at the gym if you make sure you're hitting your reps right and whatnot. But everything and more, excuse me, that's came with that has been like incredible, absolutely incredible.
It's funny, I've been speaking to a couple of lads that are like, they just assume that they need a one-to-one PT.
Yeah.
And I've obviously been a one-to-one personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And I often say, like, if you want a glorified rep counter,
Mm-hmm.
then fair enough. And it depends where the level
Yeah.
of the person is at. If you're someone who's never stepped foot in a
Aye.
gym before,
Absolutely.
fair enough. But in your case, you'd been trying for the best part of 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about having a holistic approach, you know, and looking at your training, looking at your nutrition, looking at your habits. So touching on the habits, the routines, how has that impacted you when it comes to like everyday life, not just within your physique, but relationships with Molly, your work? How has it impacted that, or has it impacted it?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, there's still a long way to go with some things, but as of now, the changes it's made are huge. Like, again, we touch on the small wins and the daily tasks, the non-negotiables that we speak about. Waking up, having at least 750 ml of water, an electrolyte tablet in the morning.
How
making
has
the
that
bed.
made you feel? Just like something as small as that?
Genuinely, like, it's incredible, and obviously these things have the effect, but it's also ticking off all these boxes can be the placebo effect of just like, I know I'm doing it, so I feel better.
Amen.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's just positive mental attitude, basically. So it really is. I mean, it comes down to one big win and one big end goal, but it's all about these small wee wins and daily tasks as long as you're meeting them. And I mean, I've set myself a lot of tasks. I'm not meeting them every day, but as long as I'm making small amounts of changes each day, like, I know I'm going in the right direction.
But I think that's life. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to be perfect, mate.
Nah.
Like, no one is, not even me. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, not even me. But I think there's this like stigma that, you know, as coaches and then as clients, you need to be ticking every task off.
Yeah.
I say it to you guys all the time. You will mess up. Like, that is life. That's
Yeah.
part of the journey. But it's about how can we change the habits. So like you mentioned that when usually you would maybe go off plan at the weekend, it would be a catastrophic turn of
Yeah.
events. How can we flip that to just be like,
Yeah.
okay, it's happened. Like, just get back on what you normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's something that makes this become part of your life rather than like something that you're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, aye. Uh-huh.
So talk me through some of like the physical changes that you've then had.
Oh, I like lifting heavy in the gym, you know, getting up to the 30s on the chest that I never thought I'd do on the big boy weights.
How did that
You know?
feel, being able to like maybe raise a self-limiting belief that you've maybe had?
It's crazy, and that comes with confidence in and about the gym. Like, I would never ever attempt to go any bigger, and that was a problem as well with lifting weights. You know, I would hit a level where I was comfortable with, and if I'm training myself, I'm too scared to ask or approach MD for a spot or ask MD for help to really push myself. But like, the confidence in and around the gym now to just be able to lift heavier, push yourself heavier, like the physical change is so clear, because I know that I'm going in and I'm pushing myself, and I'm not scared that I'm just thinking back to when I first started the gym. Like, I was scared to walk in, talk to him, they pick up a weight in the gym, and I think I told you this story. I was doing a hack squat.
Yeah. Tell it.
Well, I'm at Nuffield, so we don't have a proper hack squat machine, so we've got the barbell with the weights. And that was my first exercise of the night. The gym's absolutely packed, and I've walked in, loaded the plates, about to squat my heaviest, not realising that somebody's took the weights off the machine to actually weigh the machine down. And I've picked it up, flung it over my shoulder, done my first rep, came back up and pushed myself right back, crashed into somebody's weight bench, crashed into a chest press machine somebody's on, and the whole gym's looking at me. And like, this is where I really noticed the change in confidence. I'd have been out there. I'd have dropped my weights, left my water phone out there, ran away, but I just got up, laughed it off. A couple of people asked if I was all right. I was fine, thankfully. Picked the weights, loaded them back on, loaded the weights on the machine, and just went again.
Yeah.
And that for me was like, it was hilarious. But
Yeah.
to be able to just turn that around and like not care and just go like, it happens, get on with it.
And they're the unseen wins
Yeah.
that only you know that in terms of how you've changed it.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of guys, and don't get me wrong, you getting shredded abs and now building foods up and starting to put on a lot of size, that is like the cherry on top.
Absolutely.
Like the big one is like the fact that you're now that guy who beforehand in that gym environment would be like
yeah.
straight up the road, but now you can just brush that off
Aye,
because you've
absolutely.
gained the confidence.
Yeah.
How do you feel if let's say someone knew you from January before we started, right, and you had no contact with them, you hadn't seen them all the way up until now, what do you think they would notice about you in terms of what's changed? What do you think they would be saying?
Well, a few people have definitely noticed changes, you know, a wee bit of filling out round shoulders, lats and whatnot. But just like on an organisational level and a more confidence level, I know I've always been a relatively confident guy, but just confidence around the gym and how I look and what I'm wearing was a lot to do with it as well, because, you know, when you're going out for a fancy meal or something, it's how clothes fit you and stuff, and I'm a wee bit more comfortable about how that. I might have had a different goal to a lot of other people, but, you know, just barely fitting into smalls, having to order extra smalls, tell people they were smalls, mediums, you know.
Yeah.
They would order that bigger size, being the wee guy, but it's just incredible. And a lot of people have noticed already and complimented, so it does feel good, and it comes part and parcel. It's like you don't look for that essentially, but it helps. It's like small wins, you know.
Yeah, I always say you start your journey for you, but through that process, when you get the affirmation from other people,
Yeah.
it does mean a lot. Like,
Absolutely, aye.
I mean, who wouldn't want to walk into a room and see people you've not seen in months and be like, fucking hell, like, what's
Aye.
happened to you? Like, you look great, you've been hitting the gym. Because it just reinforces
Yeah.
that we talk about it inside we had that group call on it about the, what's the word? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's about developing an undeniable stack of proof.
Aye.
And like with all of you lads, if we were to sit down on a call and you had that imposter syndrome, if I was to ask you, go and name me 30 things you've done in the last 5 months that reaffirms that you are the Matt Haggerty who's, you know, confident within his physique, you could probably list them all off
Yeah.
and say, oh, well, I did this. And they may seem small at the time, but it's about having that undeniable stack of proof to build you to the guy that you are right now
Yeah.
and that we're continuing to be.
Yeah.
So over the last 5 months, in comparison to some of the main issues that we had, some of the main things that we had at the start was loads of effort but no results, kind of winging things, lack of education, not really confident within our physique.
Yep.
When we compare that now, how has the coaching helped you with them areas?
Oh, it's effortless in my end to an extent. Like, as I said, I was walking into the gym, spending more time than I should be in the gym, more time on my phone, looking for machines to use, looking up exercises. I'm following a plan. It's like there, the videos are there. If you don't know your form, there's a video attached there for the form. Like, it has just been made so much easier when I have a high stress with work. See, after a busy day, they're the days where you would normally be defeated and go, not tonight, I can't be bothered, because it's an extra thought of what I'm going to do if the gym's busy, what machine can I use? It's all there for me. It makes it just, as I said, it's part of my life now, because I know what I'm going to hit, I know my targets, and I know that I'm going to get results if I follow it. It's a step-by-step process, you know, so it's bulletproof.
Yeah. And you were obviously in a position where you'd maybe flirted with the idea of getting the help and making that step to coaching, and ultimately you have, and it's been nothing but upside. What would you say to someone who's maybe watching this right now who is thinking about getting coaching but is, you know, on the fence, humming and hawing? If you were to sit with them and talk, what would you say to them?
Oh, don't wait till you're ready. You never really truly are ready. So if you're unhappy, as far as unhappy, do it. If you're incontent with your physique and how you're feeling, not just about how you look, how you actually feel, and you don't feel like you're getting enough, like jump in. There's absolutely no doubt that you're going to get rewards. Like, and it's not just about your end goal; it's how fast the results come because it's there for you. I wouldn't hesitate at all. Like I've spoke about. I toyed with doing it much sooner. I
Yeah.
wish I did, but I'm happy I'm here now. And it's a no brainer, like an absolute no brainer.
How do you feel life would be different had we sat on that call and you maybe said to me, I'm going to go and think about it, or it's not for me? How would your physique and how would your health, your life be different?
I'd be in the same, not rut, so to say, but I wouldn't be unhappy. I would definitely not be content, and I'd have been in the same cycle that I spoke about. Like I know I would have fell off come March, and it would just be the same. And going into my 30s, I would just be unhappy. I'd let work kind of take over, and my weekend work take over. Not much would have changed, to be honest. You know, I do have that drive and I do have that motivation, but it was the guidance and the information that I needed, and that's what really led me kind of down this path. So, yeah, it's made a huge difference, and I don't think much would have changed for myself.
Well, obviously, I'm really glad that the cycle's broken, mate.
Mm-hmm.
I think in review of your journey, the fact that we've managed to get further in 4 weeks
Yeah,
in comparison to the last 4 months, I think it just highlights that by you having that system in place,
yep.
the upside is huge, mate.
Mm-hmm.
And like with where we're at just now, like we're over the priming phase. You know, we've got lean. It's
Thankfully.
only upside. Like it's only now you're going to start filling the shoes of the guy, mate, that you've wanted to be for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. But what would your summary be of like your experience with cane coaching?
Oh, it's been incredible, challenging, tough, but ultimately incredibly rewarding. You know, going through that priming phase, as I said, I was naive to the fact that I would need to go through that. Thought it was just about putting on size, but how important that stripping phase and cutting phase and building that foundation is. Going through that, knowing that I'm capable of going through that challenge, like dropping foods. I'm a foodie. I love my food. Me and I love coming into town, having something to eat. To be able to drop the calories like I did, and be strict with my food. To know that I was able to do it has just been has been reaffirming that I have the capacity and the strength to obviously go through it. You learn loads going through that phase, and it is like one big cycle, and it's incredible to see the changes and how rewarding they can be if you follow it step by step, because it's no lie.
Yeah, yeah. And just to wrap us off, what's three of your biggest wins, mate? Not just within the physique, but from you as a person, as a whole. So maybe physique and mindset. What's three biggest wins you've had in the last 5 months?
Um, Definitely showing up every day. I mean, there's few and far between sessions that I've missed. Uh, Albeit I've had a couple of holidays in between and stuff where I've not been. I think even on holiday, I managed to get my cardio in, and I was at the gym in Lisbon and stuff. So, like, showing up has been the big thing, because I think that's the hardest part at
Yep.
times. Once you show up, you're halfway there.
Yep.
Sticking to a meal plan, you know, like following the guide step by step, and knowing that you're going to get rewards, and just ultimately being more confident and happy. Definitely happier. As I said, I wasn't unhappy, but to know I'm this happy now after 5 months of going through it is incredible. Aye,
Here's to the next 5, mate. Here's to more gains.
absolutely.
Love it. Appreciate it.
All right, my man. Cheers. Thank you.